What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Wisdom Girl and Wise Woman show. It's your girl, Wisdom Girl, aka Carmel Miller, and this is.
Hey, everybody. I'm Wise Woman Leslie Christie.
And today, for Easter or
Resurrection.
For Resurrection Weekend, you know what we need. We are going to be talking about Roll the Stone Away, and that's breaking free and rising higher. So let somebody know that we're on. Like, and subscribe, okay? We are outside, y'all. I know it's not obvious, but we are outside and we are on the deck, so there might be some, what's the word I'm looking for?
Little noise interruptions, but you know, and we're gonna try to talk loud.
Yeah.
At least louder so you can hear us.
Yeah. I'm not a loud talker, y'all. Alrighty, y'all. So what's up, y'all? And welcome back to Wisdom Girl Wise Woman, the intergenerational podcast where truth is ageless and God's wisdom is always in style. And we are so glad that you guys tuned in today. Now, we all know, or we should know, that Holy Week is sacred. Okay, y'all? It's when we slow down and reflect on the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. But today, we want to bring that story into your right now.
Yeah.
Okay? Into the pain, the pressure, the purpose, and the places where you feel stuck. Because let's be real, life be life then. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're doing the job, we all have some stones in our lives, things blocking us from fully stepping into what God has for us.
Yeah.
Whether that be fear, shame, doubt, procrastination, or even trauma, or sometimes the opinion of other people. You know, that narrative that I'm not enough, you know?
Yeah.
And yet, the same power that rolled the stone away from Jesus' tomb, it's available right now, okay? Okay? Not just to get us out of the grave, but to help us rise higher, live freer, and walk in purpose.
I love it.
So go ahead and grab your journal or just open up your heart, because by the end of this episode, we believe you'll feel lighter, stronger, and more ready than ever to break free and rise higher. All right, y'all, let's go.
Yes. All right, so let's start with this. Okay. And at any time, if you can't hear us, please just let us know in the chat. All right. So this is for everybody. We want you to absolutely participate and to join in with the conversation. So when you hear Roll the Stone Away, what comes to mind?
I don't know how to explain it. I had it in my brain. How do I word it? When I hear Roll the Stone Away, I think about, I just mostly think about Jesus, about the angel saying that he's not there, you know? That's what I think about mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I hear Roll the Stone Away, like, I'm going to take it out of the biblical or Christian context. Yeah. And for me, it's like getting rid of something, you know, getting rid of something that's blocking me, you know, or blocking an entryway to something greater, something, you know, that will give me freedom. So it's kind of connected biblically, because that's what happened with Jesus, right? But it's like breaking free, like getting rid of something. Yeah. Yep. I wonder what y'all think in the chat when you hear Roll the Stone Away. Like, what comes to mind for you? Like, what does that really mean, you know, to you? Yeah.
So what is blocking you? Okay. So let's be real. We've all got stones. You know, those things we wish we could move, but we don't know how.
Yeah.
And the thing is, before you can roll the stone away, you've got to name it. Okay? You've got to name your stone. What's really been standing in your way, blocking you from something? What's that thing that you've been carrying? What's the weight that won't let you breathe deep? Okay? Or dream big?
Wow.
So let's talk about it.
Wow. That's deep. That's deep. Well, okay. What is my stone? What is that thing blocking me? That thing? Wow. Let me think. Let me think. I think for me, it what has blocked me for a long time, let me just say it like that, has been my natural ability to help someone else move their stone.
Right.
And so I'm helping others move their stone. Meanwhile, I still got a stone, you know, like, so I don't know if it's like fear where, okay, let me help. I know I'm gifted to do that, but then I got to look inside myself and say, wait a minute, you're valuable. You have something to contribute also. And I'm going to be honest, you know, let's be honest, right? It took a long time for me to get to the place where I can say, okay, now I am ready to break free. I'm ready now to relearn who I am and to live my own purpose, the purpose that God has called me to be. And this has nothing to do with being a pastor and all of that. This is like, my dreams, the thing that God has put inside me that's valuable. What about you?
I'm probably being shy.
Okay.
Because people tell me that I'm not shy, but I'm really shy.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why, but I'm just really shy. And because I'm shy, I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden, like, I'm a very clear speaker.
Yes, absolutely.
But all of a sudden when I get shy, and I think this is with most people, like, I start to stutter and I sound, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. I don't see that you stutter. I think you can divert, right? So like, let's say you're talking about one particular, we're on one conversation, and if you're shy, like you don't want to talk about that, or you have a tendency to just like go to something else and talk about something else.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is my parents hate it when I do that. When I just go from one topic to another like so fast.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, that was a smooth transition.
Yeah. What about let me see what some of y'all are saying in the chat, your own stones, because like Wisdom Girl said, we all have them. We absolutely all have those stones in our lives. Yeah.
Or I will probably say when I repeat myself. Like I know I've said things before, but I have to say it again, or I forget that I've said it already.
Okay.
And people are like, oh, you told me that the other day, and I'm like, well, you didn't respond. So
yeah,
I'm assuming you didn't hear me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it again.
You know what else is a stone for me? What? Okay, I'm being really transparent. Okay. Y'all. Don't judge me. Okay. Is when I practice something over and over in my head, and I'm trying to turn it off. Like something aggravates me. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
And now I'm rehearsing it. I'm trying so hard to say, you know what, that's them, or that's, you know what, I'm just gonna be okay, or I'm gonna forget that. And maybe that's a female thing. I'm not sure. Tell me if that happens with anybody else, right? So it's going on and on in my head, right? I'm trying to turn it off, but it takes work for me to turn off. So that stone, is moving, but it didn't quite roll all the way away.
It didn't roll away. It had a little tiny crack.
Yeah.
But the truth is that stones don't always look like tragedy.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes they are mindsets. You see what I just did there? This is what I was talking about. Sometimes they're mindsets.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's staying quiet to keep the peace.
Ooh, now see, I do that.
That is something that I do a lot.
And I do too. Yeah, absolutely.
They hate me for it.
Absolutely.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is saying yes when everything in you wants to say no.
Now I don't do that anymore. I used to.
You used to.
But my no's are no's. Like I'm just
a year ago.
I'm too old.
Now.
But yeah, like I totally agree with what you're saying, and here's the other thing, that stones don't roll away on their own.
Right.
Okay? They don't roll away on their own. You gotta face them, right? And you gotta name them. And then you have to let God and the people who love you help move them. Okay? And that's not weakness, that's wisdom.
And I'm gonna tell y'all something that y'all don't want to hear, but that's okay. When you don't ask for help because you think you can handle it on your own, that's pride, and pride is a sin. I'm trying to tell. I know y'all don't want to hear it. I know y'all don't want to hear it. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Someone had to tell you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't cry about it.
Okay. Everybody just say ouch.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Anyway, so let's talk about the resurrection. Okay. Because rising sounds wonderful and cute, but it's messy. Okay, like when a plant rises out of the ground, it's filled with dirt before it becomes a big, beautiful flower.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Sometimes it means leaving some stuff behind.
Yeah.
It means healing from things that you were never given an apology for.
Ooh.
Dang, that hurt.
Ooh.
That's okay. It's okay.
Ooh,
it's okay.
That cut. Wait, say that again. It means what?
It means healing from things you were never given an apology for.
Child. Sila.
Mhm.
Bible said. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just because the stone moves doesn't mean that the rising is easy.
Ooh.
Some of us are trying to heal and hold it together at the same time.
Yeah.
There are just some. I don't want to use that word, but I'm gonna have to say it. There are some times we just have to break down,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that's okay.
It's totally okay. And it's healing. It's refreshing sometimes. You know.
Sometimes,
Listen,
because but won't that headache after them tears? When that's a
you
different
got that
story.
right.
'Cause why?
Listen, I've had many nights of tears now.
That's okay.
Sure enough have. Wow. All right. Well, let me tell you this. Let me tell you. Healing is for everybody. Healing is holy.
Mhm.
It's holy.
It's holy.
But it's also hard.
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes rising means forgiving yourself. And let me tell you, that is hard for the female species. I don't know if it's a black thing, a white thing, an Asian thing, a Spanish thing, or it's for everybody, a Korean thing, that's Asian. You know, I was trying to get all the ethnic groups, but I don't know if it's just us, but I do know it's a female thing. You know, forgiving yourself, you know, sometimes that's what rising means.
Right.
And it means being okay with not having closure. Like some things you're not going to get closure from, right? It's still going to be, you never were able to get an apology, or you were never able to say, I'm sorry, or whatever. There's not closure. Maybe somebody passed away and you didn't get to say your goodbyes or whatever, but you got to be okay with that, you know? There's one quote that I love. It says, you don't have to carry everything you've survived.
Pocket. Sorry.
Come on now.
My Gen Z stuff came out.
Okay. You can release the weight without losing the lesson.
Right, clock it. Release the weight without losing the lesson.
Yes.
That's like basically saying, I know this is gonna hurt for most of y'all, but that's okay. That's like trying to lose weight, and once you gave up all the junk, and then you go back to the junk after you lost your weight.
Well, you didn't learn the lesson,
right?
But yeah, you can release release everything that you holding on to, but still learn the lesson.
Right, y'all have got to do better. It's all right.
Yeah,
we've got to do better. But y'all are older than me, but so anyway, and that reminds me of this verse, John 11:39, when Jesus says, "Take away the stone." He was about to raise Lazarus from the dead.
Yeah,
but he told the people standing there to move the stone, and that part just gets me, because Jesus had the power to do it all, but he involved them in the process.
Right.
That means some miracles require our participation.
Girl, come on.
You want to rise? You got to be willing to move something, even if it's just your mindset.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's a spiritual boot.
That's right. That's what CJ will call it. That's a lot. You got to participate in this. You know. Wow. Because you know what? Because we want God to do the work. Now we talking about stones. We're not talking about these little rocks. That we have. We're not talking these big
like stones. Even pebbles hurt you guys.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's
a different type of pain.
But here's the thing: when it's the stones, it takes energy. It takes a pushing. It takes sweat.
Effort.
It takes effort. And Jesus is saying, you got to participate in moving that big thing that had you crippled, had you bound, had you crying, and now you got to participate in moving that way. That's tough.
Right.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
Right.
My Lord. You know what? Okay, Sunday best. Okay. Wow. But you know what? Let's kind of break this down some more. Okay, let's break it down some more. What does it really look like to rise?
Right.
Even when rising is messy. Okay, so even when it's messy, rising means giving yourself permission to heal out loud. Girl, to heal out loud. It means go ahead. What you gonna say?
I just said that's a knee slapper.
Oh, it's knee slapper. Okay. You know, it means showing up to life. You know, even when, like we were saying, even when your eyes are still swollen from crying the night before, right? It means you're making progress even if you're still limping.
Right.
Come on, that's what rising is.
Right. So y'all, rising can be showing up for school with anxiety, but still showing up. Like your presence is a lot, you guys.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like it can be telling your truth, even if your voice shakes, or even if people don't listen.
Come on. Yes.
That's like, what did Cheryl Lee Ralph say? She said, people don't have to like you, they don't have to love you, they don't even have to respect you, but you better love what you see, okay?
Come on, Miss
And she just got her start.
Yes, she did.
Okay. And sometimes rising looks like the rest. Saying no.
That's true.
Like choosing peace over proving a point.
I know
it's not always loud or glamorous.
Right.
It's quiet decisions that add up to real change.
I know.
Because I'm not gonna say, but there was a situation where basically someone was going off on me, and I was confused.
Right.
And I'm glad I was confused.
Right.
I'm glad that I was confused because I wasn't able to say anything, because I'm not the person that's like, I grew up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not talking to me, then I'm not going to respond. So apparently this person was talking to me.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna say nothing because it's a bit late for that, and I'm not gonna go back and pick up a fight. I was minding my business. Where did you come from?
Right.
And then someone was like, oh, you're mad that this person clocked your tea. And I was like, what tea did she clock? I did not talk to this person.
Yeah.
I was not going back and forth. This was not an argument.
Right.
In order to clock someone's tea, there has to be an argument. And I don't know who this person was talking to,
but you weren't.
But it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Like, wow. It was not. I did not respond. So I was confused.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let me stay confused.
Yeah.
But what it is, okay?
Yeah. You did. You took the quiet role. Like you chose peace over the mess.
Yeah. I'm like, it's too early in the morning.
Yeah.
Why are we screaming? Okay.
Right. Exactly. And it definitely is messy. The rising is definitely messy, but it's messy because it's real. Okay. And it's holy because God is in it. Like Romans 8:11 says, the same spirit who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. So even in your mess,
I wonder which angel that was.
Paul wrote it. It's Paul's letter.
I can't call Paul.
Oh, okay. Well, call Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus
stay on the main line.
But anyway, even in your mess, you're not powerless. You're absolutely not powerless, because again, the same spirit who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you, so you can rise as well.
Right.
All right. So let's talk about something real. Not that everything else wasn't real, but let's just talk about another real thing, right? Sometimes we pray for the stone to move, but we don't talk about what happens after it does.
Right.
Freedom is great, but it can also feel scary. Nobody tells you that when the weight lifts, you might not know what to do next.
Right. Like, not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. First thing in the morning, I would get to school, and first thing in the morning, my immediate instinct is like, there's a leak in this old building. And they're like, what are you saying? And I was like, this is some shopping. You don't know nothing about that. Just step back. Like, in the morning when I get to school, I try. Like, the first 3 hours when I get there, I try my best to listen to gospel the first 3 hours.
Yeah.
I try. Sometimes I make it a good 2 hours and a half, a good hour and a half. I'm trying, okay? I be trying out here, right? And they're like, what do you listen to? And I'll be like, Yolanda Adams. Who you listening to? LaShawn Pace. Who you listening to? Tremaine Hawkins. And they're like, who are these? They're like, I was like, these are gospel artists. And they're like, what? Yeah. Why are you listening to gospel so early in the morning? Why are you listening to gospel? I said, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You're not saved the way I am, and that's okay. We'll get you there, but let me mind my black-owned business.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why this is what we call what I wish I knew before the stone moved.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Because whether you're a teenager or a grown woman stepping into a new season, it takes courage and adjustment.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Peace might feel weird at first when you're used to chaos.
Yeah.
Right? And growth might feel lonely when you stop running with the crowd. And that's okay.
Yeah. And that's what you were just describing. You choosing peace, you growing, nobody else is listening to gospel music at school, but you are, and they asking you, well, who are you listening to? And you tell them, they're like, oh, who is that? You know.
Yeah, I be clutching my pearls. What you mean with Tremaine Hawkins?
Did y'all hear her say she be clutching her pearls?
I be clutching my
OMG. She is 13, y'all.
Lord have mercy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. But you know, I love that though. I love that.
Right.
But what about this?
Mhm.
What about this? Not everyone will clap for your breakthrough.
Mhm.
Hello, somebody.
Mhm.
Some people liked you better when you stayed behind the stone, okay?
Right.
But your freedom is not up for debate. I want
Right.
y'all to know it's not up for debate, you know?
All right.
Sometimes a girl who walks out of the tomb isn't the same one who walked in. Come on, somebody testify.
Right, like when you get in the shower, you're not as dirty as you are when you come out.
Come on. And guess what? That is the point.
Mhm.
Okay, you're not supposed to stay the same.
Exactly.
You're not. And if you're listening right now and feel unsure about what's next after the stone moves, just breathe. Right? Take your time. You know, you don't have to know everything.
Mhm.
You just have to keep walking.
Mhm.
That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring this closer to home, all right?
Okay.
We've talked about what the stone is and
Yep.
what rising looks like, and even what we wish before the stone moved.
Right.
But now it's time for you to do something.
Come on.
Okay? You've heard God speaking. You felt that nudge. Maybe today was another confirmation for now.
Okay.
You know, for you, for right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here comes the challenge. What will you roll away this week so that you can rise higher?
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So this week, identify your stone.
Okay.
What's that one thing that's holding you back? From joy, from peace, from the goals, from your calling, from your next level, from your God-given assignment.
Wow.
And then maybe take a small step to move it. Not necessarily the whole thing. Maybe just the crack of light, you know? Maybe it's making the call, writing the letter, studying an extra hour, going to therapy, applying for the job.
Right.
Telling the truth to yourself.
I love that.
Right.
I love that. It's so much. Let me just show some of these things, some of these comments in the chat, because they are blowing the chat up. Because what you're talking about is such truth, such truth. And it's something that we have to absolutely make a decision. We have to do something. We got to do something. So again, when we're talking about this, we're not asking you to do it alone, right? Because first of all, God didn't create us to be alone, right? And honestly, you're not supposed to do it alone anyway. Right? So we want you to remember Romans 8:11 that we mentioned earlier. It says the same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. So it means, again, that you are not powerless, right? You're not stuck. You're not too late, And with Jesus's help, you can roll the stone away. You can break free, and you can also rise higher, okay? And if no one has told you this before, you are worthy of a fresh start. Let me say that again. You are worthy of a fresh start 3 times.
Oh, my turn. You are worthy of a fresh start.
You're worthy. You really are worthy. You're worthy of light. You're worthy of peace. You're worthy of just all the things that God has promised you. So this week, let God roll the stone, okay? But show up ready to rise. Come on, don't wait until Sunday.
Right.
Resurrection starts when? It starts today.
Right.
It starts today.
Yeah. Right. So the beauty of Holy Week is that it doesn't end at the cross.
Hallelujah.
There's resurrection. And then we got the comeback, okay?
Come on.
Let me stop. All right. So there's power and there's victory. And listen, that's not just a Bible story. It's a you story. Okay?
Love that.
The same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you.
Yeah.
Okay? So that means that your purpose is not dead.
Right.
Your joy is not dead. Your healing is not dead.
Yeah.
My miracle is delayed, not denied.
Come on, girl.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Okay. It might look different, but it's not over.
Right.
All right. So maybe today God's not asking you to move the stone away on your own. Maybe He's asking you to believe that He still moves stones.
Right.
All right. And your job is to show up at the tomb. So bring your faith and bring your brokenness and be ready for the miracle. Okay.
Wow. Your job is to show up at the tomb.
Right.
Girl, that's a preach right there. All right. So just in case you're still struggling and you need, you already know you need Jesus's help, but you feel like you just don't know how you're going to begin rolling the stone away in your life, or you don't even know how you're going to just stand at the tomb, right? Ready, right? We hear you. We got you. Y'all already know. We always bring you some practical steps. So here we go. 1, you got to acknowledge the stone. Come on, you got to acknowledge it. Name what's in the way. Be honest. Remain truthful with yourself.
Right. Ask for help, whether that's prayer, therapy, community, or accountability.
Yeah.
No one is above some help.
I know that's right. Number 3, just take small steps. Okay. Progress doesn't always look like fireworks. Okay. It's not that. Sometimes it's just showing up. We said that so many times. It's just showing up. Just make sure you take the steps, okay? No matter what size the step is.
Right.
Yeah.
And speak life over your situation.
Ooh,
Start declaring what God says, even if you don't feel it yet.
Yeah.
And the most powerful way to rise higher is to declare God's word over your life,
right.
all right? Over and over again.
And again and again and again. I know that's right. And then lastly, trust God's timing. You got to do that. Resurrection did not happen on Friday. It came on Sunday. So don't be such in a hurry, okay? God's got you. We promise He's got you if you let Him, okay? All right. And listen, just because it's dark in the tomb doesn't mean that God's not working. All right. Some of your greatest transformation happens in silence, in stillness, and in surrender.
That reminded me of that line from Green Leaf.
Oh. Yeah.
Shouldn't that yours tear is best expressed. I'm gonna start saying that to people. They're gonna be so mad at me too.
Oh my gosh.
So wherever you are right now, right? So your bedroom, your car, walking to class, or just sitting in silence. This is a reminder that you are not stuck and you are not too late and you are not alone.
Amen.
That stone, it's not the end of your story, all right?
Come on.
You were created to rise.
Yes.
Created to live free.
Yeah.
And you don't have to carry what God's already called you out of.
I know that's right.
Right.
So we challenge you this week to speak life over yourself. Okay, do that. To do one small thing that pushes the stone even an inch. If you do that, that's movement. That's growth. That's rising.
Right. And as always, we're cheering for you, all right?
Yeah.
So if this episode blessed you, share it and text it to a friend. Let someone know that they don't have to stay buried, all right?
Yes.
We love you, we see you, and we believe in your comeback. So until next time, keep breaking free and keep rising high.
I know that's
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and share this episode with your sister circle. And please leave us a review on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, all right? And as always, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for tuning in. Until next time, seek the wisdom of God and walk in it, and make it your daily business to wise up,
live,
and prosper.
We love you guys. Bye-bye.